I know you talked about how great of a season this has been despite some hurdles. Everyone knows that your team had to basically put the season on pause for 3 weeks. It doesn't seem like it really had any negative effects. So talk a little bit initially about this resiliency of this squad, not being able to play what looked to be a very promising 2020 in its entirety, and now battling back this season despite having to make up a lot of lost time.
We certainly did face some setbacks this year, but you mentioned 2020, and I think the connection that this team has with one another goes back to January of 2020. With McLean Mond's passing, that changed everything, and it changed everybody on our team. And, we really had to rely on each other and come together to figure out how to deal with adversity. And, the passing of a player is just such an impactful thing. But I think as we relied on each other to get through that, it prepared us to handle the pandemic. It prepared us to handle a 20-day shutdown in the middle of this season. It's prepared some guys to have a good perspective on injuries and different things like that. So it's been quite a journey, and to see what we've accomplished on the field, I'm able to witness firsthand how these guys have grown off of the field because of all these things that they've had to deal with. And it's been a really special experience to see how they've grown up, become closer, dealt with just one adversity after the next. And ultimately, it's allowed them to really perform in a really special way on the field for us.
We just talked to your two pitchers today. Jared Kolar goes 6. Marshall McGraw comes in and works the last 3 innings. I asked both of them, but I want to ask you, how did you sort of approach that with Jared cruising through 6 innings, but they said maybe it wasn't even an expectation that he'd be able to go that deep, and then you call upon another pitcher who has the ability, obviously, to work into a game, a former starter in Marshall McGraw, and he cruises through the final 3.
So we had like plan A, B, C, D, E, and F, and after every inning, Coach Cronin and I would talk about all of those different options. The thought was to get 5 innings out of Kolar and then turning it over to, our bullpen, who's been so good in their roles, Peyton Reisman, Nash Bryan, Caden Wood. The idea with Marshall, he's more of a starting pitcher, was to use him if it's early. If Kolar would only give us a couple of innings and we need some length in there, Marshall was the guy to give us that length. But as the game went on, we were starting to see how aggressive Gannon was. I mean, thankfully, there was a lot of one-pitch outs for us, and that just kind of played into Marshall McGraw's style. And we thought that let's go to Marshall, and we always have those other guys behind him if needed, and fortunately we didn't need them. So from a pitching standpoint, those guys were fantastic and made our decisions really easy.
I didn't see the official number, but I think it was just over 2 hours and 20 minutes for a 9-inning game.
For a Seton Hill game.
Yes. That speaks to the aggressiveness of your starting pitcher and your reliever, McGraw, throwing strikes, attacking. We saw Marshall 23 pitches, 21 strikes. I know you would love to see everyone do that, but what allowed them to have such success and keep this game at a pace that I think really benefits everyone involved?
I really think the opponent did. The opponent fed into that. Jerry and Marshall both have outstanding breaking balls, but we were just getting a ton of swings on fastballs, and we just kind of went with that. And those guys can really command a fastball. So the fact that they were aggressive and the fact that those guys command fastballs, those two things matched up and made for some quick outs and a quick game.
You can get offensive success in any number of ways. Today, you certainly took advantage of the long ball. You have the home run by Isaiah DeAndreth, which may be disputed a little bit from Gannon, and then the 2-run homer that was opposite field by Oberdorf. That's been a real staple this year, hitting with power. What did you see in that regard today?
Well, as a head coach, it scares me a little bit. I have always believed the long ball can help you and it can hurt you. You kind of live by it, you can die by it. We certainly needed to be a lot better in situations today, situational hitting, but that's kind of been our thing all year. Those long balls for us have been big run producers. They've been big rally creators. And Jack's a guy who hasn't had a home run in quite a while. That was great to see him do that. And we had some great performances up and down the lineup. Isaiah had a good day. Owen Sable, I think, was on base 4 times. Jack at the bottom. Tanner had a big double. So, Pellis and Orndorff didn't have their typical huge days, but fortunately some other guys were able to produce around them.
one thing that we said, if you're looking for areas of improvement, the one inning you sort of ran yourself out of what it could have been a bigger inning. You had 2 caught stealings and a pickoff, but all really the same type of scenario. Is that something that is just going to invariably happen when you're as aggressive as you are on the base pass?
To an extent. Those were more mental mistakes here today. There's going to be good, aggressive mistakes. When you steal bases, you're going to get thrown out a little bit. But those were pretty disappointing to see because they're more mental mistakes. We were successful. I think we stole our first 3 steal attempts were successful. But with Klein getting thrown out and 2 pickoffs, that's just bad baseball on our part. We got to get better at that.
So take me through what the next couple of days hold, because you know you're going to play 2 on Sunday, potentially 1 more on Monday if the semis go 3 games. What do you do between now and then, and how do you kind of set up in terms of what you want to do with your pitching?
We know our opponent. We know a lot about them. So, scouting and preparation is probably not as much as it would be if you're going into a regional playing opponents you didn't know about. Tomorrow will either be an off day or a lift or a little bit lighter day for us, and then we'll pick things back up on Friday and Saturday just to get back into game rhythm. Fortunately, I thought we were pretty prepared to play today. Knowing that it was only 1 game, we were able to face a lot of live pitching the last 2 days. A lot of our bullpen and even starters that we knew we weren't going to use, we were able to throw them on Monday and Tuesday and keep our hitters in a rhythm. I don't know if we'll be able to do that leading into the weekend, so it'll be more of just trying to keep that rhythm and in a sense, a little bit of physical recovery and preparation, but essentially, I know our guys are going to be chomping at the bit to get back out on the field Sunday.
I know you told Flick that vivid memories last time there was a home playoff game today. Maybe not the same at stake today, but you'll have a chance over the weekend and maybe on to do the same thing. What does it mean to play here at home in front of the fans, even albeit during a weekday?
It's a little bit different, to be honest with you. A noon start on a Wednesday.
That's why our numbers go through the roof then.
Certainly. Not a whole lot of work getting done here today off campus. But it was great to see a lot of our alumni out here on a Wednesday. A lot of guys called off work. It's really special to 15 years later be able to play a game on this field and have the guys who played here back in 06 come and watch.
Give some shout-outs if you want.
Well, Steve, I don't want to get him in trouble, but Steve Long was here today. I guess he was teaching virtually, allegedly. I think there was a lot of other Griffins that were a little bit sick today and couldn't get to work. But, back 15 years ago, those guys were playing on a field, and where we're standing right now was just a pile of grass, and people were sitting on milk crates. And we actually had a temporary fence in center field that blew down the day before, so we had to park cars on the fence to hold it up so it wouldn't blow down during the game. And all those guys are back here now, and they can really, truly appreciate what a special ballpark this is and what a special opportunity is to host postseason baseball again here.
Manx, thanks so much for doing this, Coach, and we appreciate your time. As always, congratulations on the victory. Keep it up.
Yeah, you guys keep up the fantastic work. I speak on behalf of our parents, our fans, our alumni. There is nothing better than Westmoreland Sports broadcasting Seton Hill baseball, and we're so thankful for you guys.